Hi, this is Anirudh.
And this is Amy.
Today we'll be discussing art created by artificial intelligence, or more commonly known as AI art.
But before we get started, we wanted to take a quiz to see how well the two of us can tell AI art apart from human-created art. Our Epic Web team has generated a few examples for us, and we're going to see how well we can tell them apart, so let's jump right into it.
Sure.
In the first example, we have two paintings, it looks like.
Yeah.
I think right away I can tell that the first one looks a bit more uniform across the whole thing, while the second one definitely has a lot more like small details and texture. The second one has like a different, it's not one brush. There's like small details that are probably done with pen on top of the watercolor or paint.
Yeah, the left one is definitely more like neat, and all the colors are kind of mixed together really well, and I don't think a human could kind of make that kind of image. The right one is like more human-like with pastel colors, and like the details are pretty intricate, but like there are some mistakes that I can kind of detect in the image, but it still looks really good. But the left one seems more like a photo that you would take somewhere, so it seems more like an AI.
Okay, moving on to the second example. I see this picture of tomatoes and this picture of buildings. I think, again, right away, its texture is a big giveaway for me. For the second photo, you can see in the clouds that there's been layers onto it with like the oil painting, which I don't think AI can do. So I'm going to choose that the second one's AI, or a human, sorry.
Yeah. I definitely agree with you. Also, like the left one, the tomatoes are very like how it's been made. I don't think a human could kind of make that because like the yellow kind of like shadow kind of vibe. The tomato is very hard to make, and also it seems like a photo taken as well. Although I feel like it's a mix of both a photo and like an image that like a human created. And the right one seems definitely more like human created because yeah, definitely like oil painting and pastel colors.
For the third one, we have this sculpture and then also this contemporary kind of style. I feel like this one's definitely harder. Maybe, I feel like the first one might be like digital art created with the human hand, but like on, an iPad or some kind of software. Because I feel like the second one, it looks really smooth, and I feel like it's also like a combination of a real photo and they just like sliced up the images and created art or generated.
Yeah, the left one also has like the ball, like makes me think it's AI because like that's kind of really hard to kind of create, and like the right one, like the green ball, it doesn't seem like AI made because like there aren't too much like color and kind of like shades behind it, and the right one, like the shadows are very well defined, so it could definitely be AI, but I feel like a human could definitely kind of create that.
So I think we agree on the first two, but
Yeah.
for the third one, I think the left one's AI and he thinks,
The right one is.
or no, no, I think the left, I think the right one is AI and you think the left one is AI. Okay, let's see how we did. So our web team has sent us the answers. It appears that, we've gotten the first two both correct, which is good. The second one you got correct. Good job to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last one is definitely a really like hard one, yeah, because there's so many details that they're kind of hard to detect. The first and second one are kind of easier to kind of detect because like the painting was like more human made, but like the right one on the right seems like a lot of time has been spent on it, so I definitely feel like it's harder, more difficult.
Yeah, so let's delve into what AI art is. So simply, it's art generated with the assistance of artificial intelligence.
Yep. And it uses millions of algorithms to analyze images and uses past art pieces to create an art piece based on what's wanted, which is really cool and will come in very handy if I ever need inspiration.
AI art also opens up so many possibilities for the future, especially in forms such as music and photography.
Yeah. So before getting more into AI art, let's take a look at how it came about and where it all began. So in 1950, Alan Turing came up with the Turing test, which tests the computer's ability to display intelligent behavior through a series of questions which would determine if it's human or computer. And this is kind of the first example of computer intelligence, not yet artificial intelligence, but computer intelligence, that brought AI later, which influenced many artists in the late 1950s who worked with computer graphics and brought new artistic perspectives, such as plotter drawings and silk screen on paper. And in 2015, the first AI algorithm, the DPREAM algorithm, was created by Alexander Mortentsev, and which kind of visualizes patterns from neural networks called generative adversarial networks, or GANs. And this pretty much influenced the new generation for AI and artists.
Yeah. So now that we know a bit about the background of AI art, how do we even figure out what is AI art versus what is human art? So I think what worked for the two of us was, one, for me at least, looking at texture. I could tell that human created texture was very unique and distinct versus to like the smooth texture from the AI. And also, I think what Anirudh looked at was if something was too perfect to be true. A study done by Tidio actually did this experiment for themselves, and 87% of respondents mistook an AI generated image for a real photo of a person, while 62% of respondents interested in AI and machine learning were able to manage to answer more than half of the questions correctly. So among the remaining respondents, more than 64 were wrong most of the time, which is pretty shocking. Obviously, we did 3 examples, so our rate was probably more perfect than to be true.
I think that like if someone looks very deep into the image, it can be kind of easier to kind of detect what kind of image it is, like if it was AI art or human art. So maybe the respondents didn't have enough time, perhaps, in the study, so not too sure about that, but yeah.
Yeah, so also the funny thing is that when respondents were given cats instead of real people, almost 70% recognized an AI cat photo, and only 32 correctly identified one of the AI-generated people. So they did better on cats than on humans, which is unbelievable. Maybe that's because cats are more diverse or they have more like distinct features on them. I'm not sure. But the point is that it's incredibly difficult to tell what AI art is versus what human created art is. So let's take how to distinguish photos, for example. You can identify if a photo is real if the human faces look real, if specific details like makeup or hair highlights are unique, and if you can tell that it's heavily photoshopped, like the colors look really nice, it's cropped well, etc. This is because AI algorithms are more focused and more frequently trained to produce photos that look unedited in an attempt to feature and perfect all human features, making it more difficult to identify if it's real.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But what about AI music? Like, well, a survey from Tidio showed that humans perceive AI music to be better and more complex than human-created music, which kind of redefines what AI really is, like artificial intelligence, so it's probably better than what human music is.
Yeah, personally, I believe the reason for that is because as a musician, your ear needs to be trained multiple times for it to be able to tell small differences, and to see like what is possible and what's not, versus when you're seeing artwork using your eyes, which you get to train on a daily basis just by looking at like real life, like reality. So I think it's definitely harder with ears. One thing I've noticed is that with AI music, you can tell if it's AI if if it's played at like an unrealistic or extreme speed, if it's played at unrealistic or extreme volumes, for example, it's really loud or really quiet, like really suddenly, or if there's like extreme range, like the notes are playing really far apart, since humans are really limited to their physical attributes.
Yeah, it's really interesting to hear. Like as a musician myself, I play the drum set, like not a traditional instrument like piano or something, but even like for AI music with drum beats, for example, it's really difficult to probably like find the difference between AI and human drum beats. Anyways, let's take a look at some applications and websites for AI art. Okay, so the first website or the first thing we have is Gogan 2 by NVIDIA. So this is pretty much a deep learning model that turns a simple phrase into a masterpiece. So that's very interesting because one phrase into a real photo, this is like one of the more recent AIs that have been created. This is one of the photos that they have, which is really cool. It's very distinct and colorful. And it looks like, this looks very human-like, but I can definitely see the differences because the clouds are kind of like mixed in with the sky, which I don't think a human could kind of create. So this landscape is definitely like AI made, so I can definitely see that. Okay, let's take a look at the other one now, Deep Dream Generator. So this is a human AI collaboration. So this creates content. So they have AI enabled tools. So this is the deep dream algorithm that I talked about before. And wow, this is really cool because they use like their own knowledge to kind of interpret a painting style and transfer it to the uploaded image. So this is a very cool image of a guy that was a photo of him, and now it's AI art. Like it's really cool and vibrant, and the yellow kind of shows like the distinction in colors kind of show how much like the AI is like done to the image and how like unrealistic it is for a human to kind of like do that kind of thing.
Anyways, all these platforms show how much progress AI art has made, and there is a clear difference between human-created art, which shows why it's popular, but that difference is not always right there for us to see. Many people say they enjoy AI art because they're intrigued by this new technology and why it might be able to help, but what it might be able to do in the future. They also wonder how it has the potential to help creators by giving them more inspiration for their work and more tools to work with. But many still wonder if this type of art removes the humanity from it. Artists are scared that it will replace them in the future and take away their jobs.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that AI art will take over and less of natural artists will be there in the future since their jobs will be taken away slowly. But a positive aspect is that it can reveal more about AI and opens like new doors to more advanced engineering, and this kind of progresses the art industry.
I actually believe that human artists will prevail, at least in the near future. I do agree that human creativity is irreplaceable, but AI can replace the amount of boring and repetitive tasks that are done for artists on the daily basis. And there are also more tools available for musicians, especially with all these new cool editing softwares. So this will probably create more jobs for AI developers in the future.
Yeah, there's so many points of view in this subject. There's one thing that is certain, and that is AI art will stay for the future. I wonder what AI developers have in store for the future, and can't wait to experiment with all cool, weird aspects of AI art.
Yeah, so thanks for listening to the podcast.
Thank you.